What's up guys, welcome back. This is anime fiction. You'll be watching What If Naruto Was Adopted by Whitebeard Part 5. Now let's begin.
Chapter 42. Tsunade's Disciples' First Treatment and Recovery of Status. A reward worth 5.046.000.000 belly. It had an unsettling effect on Kakashi and Shizune.
They were all astonished. What an astounding figure. Even the additional 46 million in the end exceeds Sarutobi Osamu's prize. Shizune knew very little about Whitebeard, but Kakashi assumed he knew him well. Kakashi was really clear. A guy as arrogant and dominant as Whitebeard would not brag or joke about it. This incredible abundance. It is real. But then he had second thoughts. Why had he not heard of it? Even in the ninja world, having a reward of almost 5 billion would make you renowned, right? I can't figure it out. 5.046 billion. If all of it is real money, how many years can Tsunade-sama lose? Shizune mumbled, shocked. But the next second, she sensed that the atmosphere was off. She realized that all three of them were gazing at her. Whether it was Whitebeard, Kakashi, or Naruto, their gaze was fixed on Shizune. It made Shizune stiffen up. What's wrong? She embraced Taunton and stared at the three persons with concern. Among these three persons, she discovered that she was the only female. Huh. Nothing weird should occur, right? You said Tsunade? You said the name Tsunade, didn't you? Naruto, who was 5 years old at the time, was the most delighted.
He no longer wanted the wild boar that was ready to be cooked. Instead, he took 2 steps and raced over to Shizuka's side. He hurriedly seized Shizune's clothing. Grasped firmly. As if he did not want Shizune to depart. Yes. Shizune felt bewildered. She gazed down at Naruto. Little brother, what happened to Tsunade-sama? She seldom visited Konoha and had only heard whispers of the 9 tails there. But she didn't realize Naruto was the 9 tails. Whitebeard's bounty order at Konoha village made no mention of Jinchuriki being carried away by him. So she didn't recognize Naruto. She just sensed that this small child with yellow hair has powerful hand strength. If he used a bit more force, he would tear her garments apart. Wait. Tsunade-sama is naturally blonde, and the younger brother in front of her had yellow hair. When he heard Tsunade-sama's name, he got quite thrilled. Is there a blood tie between these two? Shizune's eyes became wider. In only a few seconds, she imagined a theatrical scenario. Anyway, Tsunade-sama abandoned her biological kid from beginning to finish, and her biological son looked for her all throughout the land of fire. We are hunting for her. Naruto's remarks caused Shizune to gasp for oxygen even more. Naruto's young face is filled with joy and expectation. Shizune softened her heart somewhat. After crouching down and massaging Naruto's hair, she said, "Little brother, maybe Tsunade-sama has her difficulties." Her eyes were filled with pity for Naruto as well as irritation for Tsunade-sama. What exactly are you talking about? Naruto blinked his eyes. He quickly told Shizune, the reason we're seeking for Tsunade is because she's the greatest medical ninja in Konoha village. I want her to help heal my father's condition. Naruto dashed to the side, grabbed a couple gold bars, and raced back. He added, Grandpa Hokage informed me that medical care is costly. I'm not sure if this money is enough. If it's not enough, Naruto thought and had a brilliant idea. If it isn't enough, I'll pay the rest when I become Hokage. Shizune. Is this so? Is this not what she expected? Not good. She mistook Tsunade-sama. I heard that Tsunade-sama led a disciple outdoors. You wouldn't chance to be her disciple, right? Kakashi gazed at Shizune, wondering about this female about his age.
Yes. Shizune nodded again. My name is Kato Shizune, and I'm from Konoha village.
Auntie, you are Tsunade's disciple, so does that mean? Naruto instantly said, are you also a highly strong medical ninja? Auntie. Shizune, who has always had a good temper, had her eyes wide open, but Naruto's comments embarrassed her. Shizune scratched her head uncomfortably and quietly said, although I am Tsunade-sama's disciple, my medical ninjutsu level is far behind Tsunade-sama. Auntie Ninja, could you inspect my father's body?
Naruto took the gold bars to Shizune and said, I will pay. No need. No need. Shizune was anxious about the moniker, Auntie, but Naruto's politeness left her at a loss. Several gold bars sparkled brilliantly in the firelight. Who donates gold bars for medical treatment fees? Shizune said, I'm not sure if I can figure out the reason, but I might try.
In fact, Shizune didn't care about Whitebeard's Konoha village wanted status. She had been following Tsunade for years and had no affections for Konoha village. Whitebeard-sama. Shizune took a big breath. She couldn't help but swallow, as Whitebeard's massive physique continued to put her under a lot of strain. Why don't you just lay flat on the ground? Her hand was already covered with chakra.
Also barely proposed. Gurararara, Whitebeard didn't care and laid down on the ground.
Shizune was taken aback as he shattered the massive stone behind him, which was almost a meter tall, without feeling anything. Shizune stepped cautiously close to Whitebeard. She softly pushed the palm of her chakra-wrapped hand on Whitebeard's skin, closing her eyes and sensing Whitebeard's inner state. Her hand moved gently over every inch of Whitebeard's skin, like a very accurate detecting device. Occasionally feeling an incredible scar. Shizune was pretty astonished. Shizune took a deep breath as her look became more serious due to the unique scenario. She opened her eyes and said, Whitebeard-sama, your body condition has deteriorated to a very serious level. 3. Very, symbolized Shizune's surprise. She had no idea how Whitebeard managed to survive till now. But I can try. Shizune placed both hands on what she believed was a deadly concealed injury, which was quite similar to Whitebeard's chest posture. A significant quantity of chakra entered Whitebeard's body, stimulating older cells. Shizune feels that confronting Whitebeard's position needs highly sensitive chakra control. Otherwise, if she is not cautious, the therapy may be unsuccessful and may even cause injury. In just a few minutes, Shizune's face was becoming pale. Sweat was streaming from her brow. Phew. She hung on for a bit, then like a deflated balloon, she sat on the ground and breathed heavily. Whitebeard-sama's chakra is hundreds of times that of regular people. At this point, Whitebeard sat up from the ground.
He was touching the area that Shizune had repaired. He stood up and smiled brightly. The apparent conqueror's haki suddenly broke out from him, sweeping in all directions. The air was filled with black lightning. The whole woodland seemed to have been scoured by a gale.
A large hammer struck the awareness of the forest's monsters, causing them all to froth at the lips and roll their eyes in amazement before dropping immobile to the ground. They were astonished. The conqueror's haki, which climbed into the sky, smashed the clouds above, making the moon in the sky more visible. Finally, there is no agony in releasing conqueror's haki. Is this guy Tsunade's disciple? Gurararara. If Whitebeard's peak physical state is 100%, his physical condition prior to being cured by Shizune was only about 20%. And once Shizune treated him, his physical condition immediately improved by 30%.
It's like being a few years younger, very refreshing.
What is going on? Shizune, who was immobilized on the ground, could only feel a blast of wind coming from Whitebeard.
Then she felt a dreadful sensation of tyranny over her heart. Even if Whitebeard's command of his conqueror's haki was already flawless, the amount of conqueror's haki explosion still made Shizune, Kakashi, and Naruto quake in terror.
Kakashi and Shizune, the two ninjas, were okay. However, Naruto felt the largest influence. Naruto's head buzzed. Everything around him became extremely silent, to the point that he could not hear his own pulse.
His mental awareness was equally blank. Although he wasn't shocked, Whitebeard could still control his conqueror's haki. However, Naruto's general awareness remained unclear. Like being intoxicated, stumbling extremely unpleasant. Kakashi's forehead burst out in cold perspiration. Is this momentum? Can a mere surge of momentum reach this level? Even a tailed beast cannot accomplish it, right? The next day, early dawn. The massive blaze in the forest had been extinguished, and next to it was a mound of wild boar bones.
Those hundreds of wild boars were devoured yesterday night, leaving only white bones. Gurararara. Whitebeard chuckled loudly and glanced down at Shizune next to him, saying, Shizune brat, are you sure you don't want to be my child? My ship is in need of a skilled ship doctor. Whitebeard-sama, my parents and uncle died on the battlefield, and I am indeed an orphan. Shizune wanted to cry, but they escaped her. But at this moment, I truly have no desire to accept another person as my father.
She had not expected Whitebeard to have such a bizarre interest. It looks just like Tsunade-sama's gambling addiction. But this activity seems to be a better option than Lady Tsunade's gambling addiction, since he does not lose as much money every day.
Shizune shifted the subject. Whitebeard-sama, my medical ninjutsu level is certainly not as high as Tsunade-sama's. I believe it is quite tough to fully treat your concealed ailment. Even if I treated you every day, there is no way for you to heal. Unless Tsunade-sama is the one who takes personal responsibility. Tsunade-sama's medicinal ninjutsu is quite strong. Shizune did not hesitate to sell Tsunade. She led Whitebeard and others directly to Tsunade's location. The key is that she has to send money to Tsunade-sama. And Whitebeard and others are aware that Shizune is Tsunade's apprentice. They will undoubtedly follow her behind. Shizune can reach Tsunade in less than a day if she goes alone at her current pace. However, there is a Naruto in this group. Whitebeard's diabolical special training for Naruto is still going on. Whitebeard trains Naruto as if he intends to murder him during the day, while Kakashi is compelled to teach Naruto ninjutsu slowly at night.
This training caused considerable delays in their travel. After all, Naruto, who carries hundreds of kilograms every day, is just 5 years old. The journey speed is really sluggish. On the way, Shizune cast intermittent glances toward Naruto. She thought that both Mr. Whitebeard and this yellow-haired youngster were beyond her comprehension of human bounds. Whitebeard-sama is difficult to express since he is so large. And not quite like average people. How can this boy dubbed Naruto withstand such severe special training despite his little stature?
He hasn't even been tormented to the brink of death.
Shizune is surprised. She can't help but glance at Kakashi, the famed copy ninja, and wonders why he's with Whitebeard.
After all, Whitebeard is a wanted criminal in Konoha.
Kakashi, being a Konoha ninja, can get along well with a guy with a Konoha reward of 50 million ryo. Shizune is confused, however, asking is not simple. Time passes. Their gang has once again journeyed for 4 days. Until Shizune, dusty and tired from travel, eventually recognizes the familiar rural village and smiles. Finally, I'm back. But she's concerned. I hope Lady Tsunade hasn't been waiting impatiently? In truth, she is more concerned that Lady Tsunade has borrowed money at excessive interest rates during her absence. This option is quite high. Has Tsunade-sama been here all along? Kakashi, clutching an eki book, raises his dead fish eyes to stare forward. Yes, said Shizune. Tsunade-sama has been in this small town for more than a month. She did not say anything. It's quite humiliating. Tsunade-sama has been gambling here for over a month and has squandered all of his hard-earned millions of ryo.
Shizune continues to urge Tsunade to risk less. Otherwise, Tsunade's millions of ryo may not be enough to bet for a single day. Tsunade-sama should be in the town. Shizune hadn't completed her sentence. There was some disturbance in the distance. You could dimly hear a gathering of individuals yelling in disgust. Hurry! You two, go left. You two, go right. The rest of you, follow me. Damn it. She owed us substantial loans with high interest and didn't want to pay. Do ninjas hold any exceptions? Even if they're from Konoha, they must settle their debts with us. Big brother, come here. I just saw that woman running in this direction. Quick, chase. Then Whitebeard and the others saw a bunch of people hurrying over. They were disguised as hired samurai, each with a keen samurai sword. They were gazing all over the road and along the street.
It seems they were searching for someone. Hey, kid. One of the samurai grabbed the back collar of a small girl on the side of the road and hauled her up, aggressively saying, "Have you seen a woman with a big chest running this way?" The tiny child was terrified and screamed out on the spot. Her shaky fingers pointed to an alley next to her. Over there? The samurai tossed the tiny girl aside. He yelled to others surrounding him, "Come here, over here, chase her, don't let her run away." Samurai came over in droves. They didn't see that the small child who was pushed down was weeping and rushed away.
And gave a sly grin. Do you really think you can catch me like this? Tsunade, who had turned into a little girl, laughed. But as she thought of something, She became quite upset. HMPH. Those folks at the casino must be cheating. Otherwise, how could I keep losing and never win?
Suddenly, Tsunade sensed something. She also realized that the sun above her head was obscured by something. A big portion of the roadway was cast in shade. Tsunade also saw that several passers-by on the side of the road were staring at her back with fearful eyes. Tsunade turned around to look back. She was startled for a second.
Tsunade has spent years away from Konoha, roaming inside the fire country's boundaries. She has seen numerous tall people, including some suffering from gigantism, who stand 3 meters tall. However, an enormous figure like Whitebeard, towering almost 6 meters tall. She'd never seen it before. His gigantic and powerful stature seemed to be capable of destroying heaven and earth. The very huge Naginata glittered coldly in the sunshine.
The fierce wounds on his chest were startling to see.
This was a formidable individual. Edward Newgate.
Tsunade seemed little, like a 5-year-old kid, as she looked up at Whitebeard before her.
She said this name. A few days ago, 2 reckless Anbu from Konoha approached her with knowledge on Whitebeard.
This includes Whitebeard's true name. Tsunade learned that such a difficult individual existed in the Land of Fire. In addition, this unpleasant individual was seeking for her. Just like the description in the report, Tsunade's little face clenched slightly. She saw Whitebeard approaching her, but she no longer wanted to become embroiled in ninja matters. Her eyes widened just as she was ready to turn around and go, claiming to be a young kid. She recognized someone familiar. Shizune. Tsunade observed Shizune, her pupil whom she had constantly abused. Shizune stood on Whitebeard's right side, anxiously clutching Tauntaun, the piglet, and wearing an uneasy grimace.
She also saw a white-haired ninja close to Whitebeard. The hedgehog-like white hair made her think of Hitaki Tsukumo.
Is this Tsukumo's son, Kakashi? Tsunade quickly recalled him.
Finally, Tsunade gazed at Naruto. Naruto's face made her pupils constrict. Countless memories were immediately evoked.
The name, Nawaki, almost vanished from her head, too similar.
How could he seem so similar? So that blonde kid must be the child of Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina, the Jinchuriki of Konoha.
Tsunade took a long breath and was finally able to quiet her emotions and mentally remove Naruto from Minato. In this moment she realized she couldn't hide longer. Others may not remember her youthful look, but Shizune, the dumb disciple, will. Then she'd be revealed. As predicted. I saw you once when I was a child, when you returned to Konoha, Tsunade-sama. Kakashi was the first to greet Tsunade cordially. Tsunade-sama. Shizune's voice was faint and hesitant. I met Whitebeard-sama on my way back to find you. Tsunade says. Bang! Tsunade's actual form was revealed as a plume of smoke erupted from his body and vanished. Returning to the height of 163.1 centimeters, and her luscious body returned as well.
Naruto was taken aback by the image. She turned from a cute girl into an auntie. Hey, kid, what are you saying? Tsunade burst with rage, gazing at Naruto with eyes that appeared ready to spew fire.
But as her eyes accidentally wandered across Whitebeard, Tsunade momentarily controlled her rage, a gigantic. Honestly, Tsunade was interested about how Whitebeard became so tall. Even more inquisitive about Whitebeard's physical appearance? This might be a frequent difficulty for all medical ninjas. But, I know why you're looking for me, Tsunade said. I won't get involved in ninja conflicts, and I won't treat ninjas. You should go back to where you came from. Why? Naruto was startled. He didn't expect to come all the way from Konoha to here only to get such a reaction. Tsunade waved her hand, her face expressionless. There's not much to it. I'm just tired of the cruel game of ninjas. But you're a medical ninja, Naruto said. The Grandpa Hokage said that the duty of a medical ninja is to help patients. That old man lied to you. Tsunade spoke nonchalantly.
Naruto was eager to look around. He suddenly came up with an idea. He swiftly removed his coat, displaying a big number of exaggerated weights attached to his body. I can pay. Naruto struggled to unravel the ropes on his body.
Stacks of dollars and gold bars toppled to the ground. This is not about money. Tsunade gave Naruto a casual glance, and she couldn't take her gaze away. The sparkling gold bars and piles of bills astounded her. As a well-known huge fat sheep in the ninja world, Tsunade knew right once that those piles of bills were worth at least 3 or 4 million taels.
The gold bars were significantly more pronounced. They weren't especially plentiful, but they were gold. If sold in a gold store, they may fetch at least a few million ryo. This adds up to tens of millions of ryo. Where did a young Jinchuriki obtain so much money? Tsunade's eyes were wide open. Stinky brat, Tsunade said, you think this amount of money can buy one of the Sannin of Konoha? Sannin was an unsuitable word for Tsunade. She spoke this term in a self-mocking tone. Snap. Asterisk. The money in Naruto's palm tumbled to the ground. At this age, Tsunade's strong attitude put him at a loss on what to do. If you don't treat Pops. Naruto's eyes filled up with tears. He sniffled deeply, and his voice broke up as he spoke. Pops, he might leave me in 3 years. Pops is my only family. Kid, playing the emotional card won't work on me. Tsunade moved away from Naruto. She was frightened that a tiny brat who resembled Minato would speak to her with that pathetic gaze and make her soften.
Tsunade said, as long as it's about ninjas, I don't want to get involved now.
Shizune. Tsunade raised her hand and interrupted in advance, you don't need to persuade me either. Shizune murmured oh. She dropped her head in quiet disappointment. Tsunade-sama, if the person seeking assistance is not a ninja, would you lend a helping hand? Kakashi inquired. Tsunade simply said, if there's money involved. She hasn't taken any ninja missions in all these years. Her gaming money came from either depleting her previous savings, taking out high-interest loans, or freeloading Shizune. If there was no other option, she would return to her previous job and assist those wealthy lords with their diseases. She would get a large quantity of money after her recuperation. This may then be used to gamble again. Kakashi's lips twisted up under the black mask. It's quite coincidental that Whitebeard-sama is not a ninja. Tsunade-sama should not refuse a non-ninja person who comes to seek medical help from you, a medical ninja with superb ninjutsu skills. PFF'd. Tsunade couldn't help but laugh. You mean that someone who is not a ninja defeated the third Hokage? And now that old man is still lying in the hospital. Kakashi raised his eyebrows. If the person Tsunade-sama is referring to is really the third Hokage, then indeed it is so. Tsunade says. Although she had been gone from Konoha for many years, she had not seen the elderly guy in a long time. But, given that the elderly guy is still Hokage, how could he be weakened enough to be beaten by a non-ninja? Your lying skill is so bad. Tsunade shook her head and pointed to a chakra energy band on her fingers, saying, I am a medical ninja. Your clumsy lie can be exposed on the spot with just one check.
When her chakra contacted Whitebeard's wrist, Tsunade was astonished on the spot. Her eyes became wider and bigger. She gazed up at Whitebeard, one of Konoha's Sannin, with a puzzled expression. Cells absolutely devoid of chakra? How is this possible? Are you still human? Are you an alien? Tsunade has spent much of her life studying medical theory. At this point, she was rocked with an incredible shock. As we all know, even if individuals are not ninjas, the cells of humans in the ninja world contain chakra to varied degrees. This is considered common knowledge in the ninja community. As a result, Tsunade was taken aback when he discovered that Whitebeard's physique had no chakra fluctuation.
She believed Whitebeard was an extraterrestrial. Gararararara. Whitebeard looked down at Tsunade with hollow eyes and laughed loudly. I am a pirate on the sea, not a ninja with chakra. Even if you're a pirate, you are still human. It is impossible for you to have no chakra in your body. Tsunade's thoughts was a little perplexed.
She believed she understood the human body. At this point, it broke.
Tsunade-sama, I truly didn't lie to you. Kakashi held a yellow book, but his tone was honest. Whitebeard is really exceptional. He not only lacks chakra, but his Kekkei Genkei also does not need chakra for energy. Tsunade says. She had been living for a long time, and this was the first time she had experienced a scenario like this. She also had no idea Whitebeard was not a ninja. If she were to treat this guy, is it deemed appropriate to become involved in ninja affairs? If it is not considered, Whitebeard stole the Jinchuriki and became involved with the ninjas of Konoha village. If it is regarded, Whitebeard without chakra may not even know ninjutsu. What type of ninja is he?
Tsunade became quiet, until the ruckus behind her disrupted her thoughts.
Damn it. That little brat just duped us. There are no large fat sheep from Konoha over there. That lady must have fled, darn it. She owes us a great deal of money.
Big brother, if the boss discovers out we didn't pay back the loan, he could cut off our fingers. Nonsense. You think I don't know? This is not good. Tsunade seemed stunned.
As one of Konoha's 3 ninjas, she could have simply dealt with the samurais who demanded repayment, but she chose not to. Instead, she rapidly used the transformation process. With a bang sound, the gorgeous body fell flat. She transformed into a 13-year-old child with an innocent look. As if she weren't the one who owed money. Coincidentally, the group of samurai begging for loans likewise moved their gazes in this way, gradually widening and focusing on Whitebeard. Whitebeard stands 6.66 meters tall. Too eye-catching. Suddenly, Naruto said, "Hey, the person you're searching for is." Tsunade was astonished. Naruto's lips was swiftly covered. She clenched her jaw and dropped her voice. "What are you doing, you little brat? I owe them millions of ryo. If they find out, where will I acquire the money to repay this high-interest loan? If you treat Pops, I will not say anything." Naruto's lips was covered, causing him to whisper his words. "Are you blackmailing me?" Tsunade's beautiful eyes widened. "Where did you learn this? Is this how your father educates your children?" Shizune's dull voice interrupted. "Tsunade-sama, did you get a high-interest loan?" Ahahaha. Tsunade chuckled uncomfortably before quickly blaming the casino. "It's all because those folks cheated. Otherwise, I would not have lost. It's still millions of ryo." Shizune's eyes were filled with hate. Cough. Tsunade was becoming increasingly short of breath. "I'm not saying I can't reclaim it. Just give me some money, and I'll win it back. Tsunade-sama, I only brought a few 100,000 ryo this time."
Shizune's tone was that of a terribly offended woman. "Unless this money can be multiplied by 10, there's no way we can help you pay off the high-interest loan." Okay. Tsunade let go of Naruto's mouth and raised her hand in surrender. "Stop nagging." She cast a quick peek at the gathering of warriors behind her. The samurai seemed to have been frightened off by Whitebeard's gigantic stature and fled this dangerous location. Tsunade breathed a sigh of relief. She thought for a minute. "Stop crying, little brat." Tsunade started talking. "Under normal circumstances, I won't personally perform medical treatment. I will let my disciple, Shizune, be the main surgeon. I will only give her reminders and advice on the side." She quietly calculated the worth of the bills and gold bars. She fought the impulse to make her eyes glow. Tsunade grudgingly said, "I'm actually quite kind-hearted. The treatment fee is only 10 million ryo. You pay in advance that if it doesn't work out, no refund. If we killed him, no refund either." In fact, after she proved that Whitebeard was not a ninja, Tsunade lost all resistance. She also shown some selfishness. A few days earlier, 2 Anbu ninjas approached her and said something that made Tsunade ill. Those elderly bastards who messed up Konoha wanted her to do something with Whitebeard. It seems probable that Whitebeard is giving them major problems, otherwise, they wouldn't be so eager to remove him. Tsunade became quite rebellious as a result of this horrible conduct. A group of sleazy elderly guys urged her to do that. Then she would do exactly the opposite. Tsunade, in a fog, looked at Naruto, who was joyfully wiping away his tears, and had no idea why the face of her late brother Nawaki flashed in front of her. Nawaki's and Naruto's faces, they overlapped, perfectly aligned. Tsunade instantly remarked, "He really looks like." "Huh?" Naruto was surprised. "Nothing." Tsunade snapped to her senses. She said, "I agree to treat your pops, but in addition to the 10 million ryo treatment fee, there is an additional condition." She seized Naruto's face and twisted it violently. "That is, you little brat are not allowed to call me auntie. If you dare to call me that again, I will strip your pants off and flick your undeveloped bird until it swells." Ouch. It hurts. Tsunade was really decisive. After agreeing to cure Whitebeard, she didn't wait until the following day. She led Whitebeard and the others to an open area near the town. There was no one else present save them. The major reason for coming here was because Whitebeard's physique was too enormous for the local hospital. At the time, specific procedures had to be used. You make a mud house with earth release, make it bigger so that Whitebeard can lie down inside, and then put a fire release inside to burn it into a nearly sterile state. Kakashi was quite skillful when Tsunade gave her this command. Kakashi struggled to put down the Icha Icha Paradise book. He was compelled to accept his destiny as a tool guy. Shizune. Tsunade took a big breath. She said, "You know what to do later." Shizune, clutching Tauntaun, nodded dutifully. Shizune was well aware that Tsunade-sama suffered from hemophobia. If it is necessary to witness blood, her student must take action.
On the edges of the forest, a big earthen home stands out.
The home is damaged with fissures and plainly charred by fierce fires. Whitebeard is now lying calmly inside. His weapon, Murakumogiri, is kept outdoors. Placed right close to the earthen home, Tsunade and Shizune are also inside. They are both clad in white lab suits and sterile masks, which were stolen from the sealing scroll. The skills of the shinobi world are highly practical.
Lord Whitebeard. When dealing with Whitebeard, who is not a ninja but can put up a fight with the higher echelons of Konoha village, has a kid that resembles Nawaki, and is affluent, Tsunade adds an honorific when she talks.
Tsunade removed her hand, her gorgeous face wrinkled. Your condition is terrible, unprecedentedly terrible.
During her stay on the battlefield, she helped several seriously wounded patients. Even though she has entirely given up. However, in order to raise gambling cash, she would continue to serve wealthy individuals. She has met several challenging and complex ailments.
What kind of patient has she not seen? But, it is her first time viewing this, just as Whitebeard has one concealed sickness after another collecting in his body.
In fact, when she came into this improvised operating room, her pupil Shizune had previously told her that Whitebeard's condition was critical. However, the prior Tsunade looked doubtful about it. How serious might this be? After all, Whitebeard's appearance suggests that he is in good health, if somewhat older. It wasn't until she studied him closely that she discovered. Shizune was completely correct. I guess it might be because your physical strength is extraordinary. Tsunade responded with astonishment. The hidden diseases in your body, if distributed to 100 people, those 100 people would definitely not survive tonight. But you have held on. Garararara. This might also have something to do with my foolish son. Whitebeard smiled indifferently. Even if the medics in Konoha village and the master-disciple combo of Shizune and Tsunade insist it's harmful, Whitebeard is not concerned. Even if he was instantly issued a critical sickness notification stating that he would die tomorrow, Whitebeard would not be concerned. Is it Naruto? Tsunade was surprised. She immediately remembered the Nine-Tails chakra. If Naruto could utilize the Nine-Tailed chakra, perhaps he could indeed save Whitebeard's life.
It's Marco, said Whitebeard, laughing. Marco.
This unusual name perplexed Tsunade. Is this also a very effective medical ninja? If that's the case, Tsunade believes his medical talents are either equal to or significantly inferior to hers. She took a big breath and felt pressure in her heart. She revealed the basis of her concern. Lord Whitebeard, your condition necessitates anesthesia and surgery. No need for anesthesia, Whitebeard said. Just do it already. Shizune was astonished before Tsunade could respond. Shizune shouted, "You don't need anesthesia." Garararara. Whitebeard said, his laughter echoing beyond the clay hut. Those who need anesthesia just for a few cuts are not worthy of sailing in the sea. Men of the sea, do not dread death. Tsunade and Shizune became quiet together. They had to confess. The captivating figure of Whitebeard before them had a unique appeal. It's no surprise that even Naruto, Konoha's Jinchuriki, considers Whitebeard his father. Shizune, Tsunade said. Prepare for the surgery. Okay. Shizune swiftly nodded. Then, Tsunade brought out a cloth bag and blindfolded herself, saying, during the surgery, you must tell me all the details.
Okay. Shizune nodded again. At the same moment,
Tsunade, blindfolded, used chakra to create a gash on her thumb. Ninjutsu summoning jutsu. Uncle Kakashi, is that Tsunade, big sister really good at medical ninjutsu? At this point, Naruto was growing quite concerned. He was assisting Shizune handle her pig, Tauntaun. His little face was filled with concern and effort. Believe in Tsunade-sama, Kakashi said. It is said that during the ninja war, Tsunade-sama cured many wounded who had been declared dead. And, I also heard that Tsunade-sama's summoning beast is the slug sage of the three great sacred grounds. Kakashi went on, it's a very powerful summoning beast. Compared to Naruto's anxiety, Kakashi believed in Tsunade. But he wasn't sure why. Kakashi realized he was likewise concerned. He wasn't sure where this feeling originated from. Was he concerned about Whitebeard? Or because he thought he owed Naruto and was concerned about his family? Kakashi was astonished by his own thoughts. He gave it some thinking and concluded that it was most likely the latter. After all, if it was the former, wouldn't that imply he was truly swayed by Whitebeard's personal charm? What a joke. Uncle Kakashi. Naruto cried nervously. Blood. A lot of blood is flowing out. Then, a break appeared in the improvised operating chamber, and blood poured out like water from inside. Someone inside covered the little breach again after the blood stopped gushing. Whitebeard's physique was excessively huge, and the blood coming out of the procedure was hundreds of times that of normal individuals. It's fine, Naruto, Kakashi responded uncertainly. Bleeding during surgery is common sense. In fact, while soothing Naruto, Kakashi's fingers began to sweat. He discovered that he was really concerned about whether the procedure would go smoothly. How can this be? Kakashi instinctively recalls Whitebeard's multiple excesses towards Naruto. As a spectator, he was constantly drawn to the thorough and special parental affection. Memorable moments from the standpoint of an onlooker. Kakashi was suddenly seized with jealousy. The persona of his father, Hitaki Tsukumo, seemed to overlap with Whitebeard. Kakashi burst into a cold sweat from terror. He slapped himself. Smack, smack, smack. Uncle Kakashi. Why? Why are you hitting yourself? Naruto glanced up and saw Kakashi's strange behavior. Kakashi remained quiet for a few seconds before making an excuse. There's a mosquito. Uncle Kakashi, it seems like you're lying. Naruto boldly exposed him. Kakashi says, was his ability to act and lie too poor? Or was Naruto's intuition too accurate? This remarkable procedure lasted from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. A whole 4 hours. Bang. Until the door of the makeshift operating room was brutally kicked open. Tsunade was the first to hurry out. Tsunade-sama, how is Whitebeard? As Kakashi was going to question, he observed that Tsunade's condition seemed to be odd. Then, Tsunade hurriedly removed her disguise, refusing to look back at the scenario within. Her face was paler than everyone else's. Her entire body trembled uncontrollably slightly. She was scrubbing her hands vigorously, attempting to remove the few spots of blood that had stained them. I accidentally saw blood. Tsunade's voice trembled. Totally out of control, Tsunade let out a sigh of relief after gently cleaning the blood from her hands. She felt herself soaked in cold sweat, as if she had just been pulled from the ocean.
This is one of the reasons she is hesitant to engage in ninja activities.
Tsunade's hemophobia, which is strong enough to arouse her deepest inner dread, prevents her from fighting like a ninja. Even more unable to handle ninjas directly. Every time she treats someone, she can only shut her eyes and guide her apprentice, leaving Shizune to do the procedure. Today is no different. But as she peered ahead, she saw that the ground in front of her was saturated with blood. Tsunade's pupils abruptly constricted. Her eyes trembled. Soon, Shizune also left the makeshift operation room. Her current condition was not much better than Tsunade's. Tsunade was afraid of hemophobia, while Shizune was fatigued. A 4-hour procedure. Shizune's chakra has been drained. Her skin was much paler than Tsunade's. She walked weakly and shakily. But Shizune held on, smiled at Naruto and Kakashi, and told them, the surgery went well, all wounds have been stitched up.
Crack. The temporary operation room shattered with a tremendous boom.
The form of Whitebeard slowly rose from the dust and smoke. When the dust cleared, Whitebeard, covered in blood, resembled an asura striding out of hell. Very frightening. Garararara. Whitebeard laughed heartily, as he often did. If it wasn't for the fact that he was covered in blood and had a massive scar sewn up on his chest. I'm worried no one would suspect he had just had surgery. With the unexpected activation of the Quake fruit power, all of the blood from his body was shook off, restoring his normal cleanliness. Whitebeard grasped his white cloak. He put it back on himself. He looked at Tsunade, who was kneeling and shaking on the ground. Whitebeard could see right away that this tiny boy called Tsunade was terrified of blood. Pops. Naruto had already dashed over enthusiastically. He firmly gripped Whitebeard's trouser leg. Pops, are you okay? You've lost so much blood. Naruto said, looking up at Whitebeard's patched surgical incision. He was horrified and cried, "Oh no, Pops, you're bleeding there." Smack. Whitebeard offered Naruto a loving fist. "Foolish son. Have you never been injured or had surgery?" said Whitebeard. "Isn't it normal for a freshly stitched wound to seep a little blood? For a man of the sea, this amount of blood is just like sweating a bit."
Whitebeard continued to stare at Tsunade. Gambling-addicted brat. Whitebeard instructed, "Step back." Tsunade's heart and intellect trembled at the excitement of the blood.
I instantly followed this phrase. And while Tsunade trembled back a few steps in a kneeling posture, Whitebeard's right hand was already encased in a coating of vibrating white light, which startled Kakashi on the side.
Kakashi immediately dodged to the side. He just witnessed Whitebeard softly slam his fist into the air. In an instant, the earth and the atmosphere were both trembling. Boom! The earth under their feet ripped open massive fractures, a great quantity of dust and dirt sprang up, and the ground soaked with scarlet blood crumbled under the severe vibration.
The tremor left scars on the whole tract of ground. However, there was no sign of blood. The scenario made Tsunade astonished. She looked with horror as the blood vanished. Looking at the soil, which seemed to have been bombarded hundreds of times with explosive tags, she turned her head in surprise and smiled at Whitebeard. "Tsunade-sama, you okay?" Shizune, her dedicated apprentice, inquired with genuine concern. "Much better." Tsunade steadied herself and slowly stood up. She took a big breath. The odor of blood in the air was likewise entirely removed by the vibrating environment.
Blood and odor. It's all gone. Whitebeard-sama, your hidden disease has not been completely cured. Tsunade's respiration was quite fast. Clearly, the blood's influence was still significant at this point.
She said to Whitebeard, "If Shizune's therapy a few days ago restored you to 30% of your physical state, then this 4-hour procedure has restored your body to 70%.
The remaining 30%. Tsunade paused for a minute.
But he still repeated it. "Shizune is still my pupil, but her talent is beyond mine. To fully recuperate, I must personally do the operation on your injuries."
There are certain secret systems that use critical places. I dare not let Shizune do it since one mistake may endanger your life.
Gururarurarurara. No problem. With his ability to recuperate to this point, Whitebeard already felt in good physical shape. Even though his body was 72 years old. However, the hidden ailments that had always persisted and hampered his hockey and fruit talent had almost vanished.
Whitebeard felt great, better than he'd ever felt. If he had been in this condition during the Summit War, he would not have had a tough time fighting that magma brat. "You gambling-addicted kid, you're afraid of blood, aren't you?" Whitebeard identified Tsunade's vulnerability with a single statement. Tsunade was motionless for a minute before admitting, "Some things happened in the past that made me particularly sensitive to blood. Her sweetheart died. The death of Nawaki. These occurrences heightened Tsunade's phobia of blood to an extreme. Every time she saw blood, she remembered the two people she cared most about. Studying medicine may help many individuals, but not the ones she loves about the most. This was a devastating blow to Tsunade. Unless my hemophobia is cured, there's no way I can completely cure your hidden ailments." Tsunade offered a sour grin. "It's nighttime." Whitebeard and the others returned to the remote tiny village. Whitebeard's abnormally tall and muscular appearance provoked yet another controversy. Especially the slight odor of blood coming from his recently patched wound, which gave Whitebeard a few points of homicidal intent out of thin air. Inside a little town bar, Tsunade, Kakashi, and Shizune were taken aback when they witnessed Whitebeard effortlessly consume a vat of powerful whiskey in one breath.
It was not a glass. It was a vat. A big vat. Gurararara. Whitebeard, who had just finished a vat of powerful liquor, was in better shape than he had been after surgery. He chuckled heartily. I didn't anticipate such wonderful booze in Ninja World. I haven't drank a drink since I abruptly rushed to that ruined Konoha village.
Ordinary folks who drink significantly immediately after surgery will undoubtedly have major issues. However, for someone with an exaggerated physique like Whitebeard, this is not an issue. There is no pain whatsoever. Whitebeard set down the vat of wine and stared at Tsunade and Shizune. Gambling-addicted kid. Whitebeard went on, Gurarararara, your medical talents are the only ones I've seen that are comparable to Marco's. Do you want to join my Whitebeard pirates?
Whitebeard pirates. Tsunade was taken aback. She had not anticipated Whitebeard to ask her to become a pirate.
That's correct. The Whitebeard pirates, Whitebeard announced authoritatively, I want to form a new Whitebeard pirates in this ninja world.
Are you trying to establish a force? Tsunade asked with a worried face.
To be honest, she didn't like people who were very ambitious, particularly those whose objectives had gone awry. Pirate. This does not sound like a decent guy. However, Whitebeard's response astonished Tsunade. No. Whitebeard's grin had a trace of nostalgia, as if his boys were there with him at this time. The Whitebeard pirates have never been a force.
It is a family. Tsunade rejected. Asking a lady who has lived for 3 to 4 decades, a mature person, to recognize someone she just met as her father. This is really ridiculous. Gurararara. Whitebeard didn't mind Tsunade's rejection. He chuckled and continued, if you wish to join our family, the Whitebeard pirates always welcome a good doctor. By then, you'll be my kid, family member, and member of the Whitebeard pirates. TLN. Whitebeard really citizen, not daughter. Tsunade says. She has spent several years wandering the ninja world after leaving Konoha village. Throughout these years, there were individuals who sought to win her heart. This includes additional ninja villages. And even some nobility. Tsunade had never seen anybody attempt to win her over like this before, encouraging her to become his son and join his large family. Family. Tsunade seems bewildered. How long ago did she hear this word? Does she want to have a family? Does she want to have relatives? To be honest, Tsunade desires it. Many people admire her yearning for family, and her sentiments for them are as impressive.
She wouldn't have acquired an insatiable horror of blood as a result of the deaths of Dan and Nawaki. However, unlike Naruto, she is not a kid. Tsunade took a big breath. Lord Whitebeard, I don't even want to be a ninja now, let alone be a pirate. She stated so. The main thing is that Tsunade is a woman. How can she be a son?
Wait, why does she think that's the most essential thing? Tsunade was astonished. Late in the night, Whitebeard and the others chose to stay in this tiny town for one night. After all, Whitebeard had just completed a 4-hour operation.
Whether it's Whitebeard or Naruto, they both sleep deeply.
Only Kakashi remained up all night. What Whitebeard revealed astonished not only Tsunade, but also Kakashi, an orphan from Konoha village. Since Kakashi's father committed suicide, he has been alone. Even though he didn't take off his mask while resting in bed, his wide-open dead fish eyes revealed his sadness. He was a little annoyed and bewildered. Honestly. Without hiding his sentiments, Kakashi acknowledged that he was jealous of Naruto. Naruto is like him. He has no family and no attachments in this world. Until Naruto met Whitebeard, this small boy had a strong relationship with him. It turned out, Whitebeard did not disappoint Naruto's faith in him. Whitebeard did exactly what a father should do. White-haired brat, be my son. This statement, even if Whitebeard hasn't uttered it in a few days. But tonight, that statement reverberated in Kakashi's head.
Over and over again. He couldn't get over Whitebeard's expression of need for a family when he declared, the Whitebeard pirate is family.
Tisk. Kakashi calmly picked up a cushion from the side. And covered his face completely with the cushion.
Until the next day. Early dawn. 5 o'clock. Kakashi, with black bags under his eyes, yawned sleepily. He hadn't slept at all last night. He got out of bed so early because Naruto's self-abuse training began at 5 a.m. Gurararararara. Stupid son. Run faster for me. Whitebeard's roar made it hard for anybody to sleep.
Pops. I'm already going quite quickly. Naruto's shouts were equally difficult to ignore. This father and son, who have no biological tie, are full of energy at this time every day.
Especially Whitebeard. As if he hadn't undergone any surgery yesterday. As if he didn't have a hangover. Such excitement.
Kakashi instantly became aware of something. He moved his head to look to the side and saw Tsunade, who had no idea she was standing next to him. Tsunade protested, speechless. How can I sleep with them like this? It's really disrupting other people's sleep.
Even though it was incredibly peaceful last night, she was unable to sleep. But it does not stop her from moaning. And Tsunade saw the sight in front of her. Her eyelids jumped as she saw Naruto get tortured into a half-dead state. What is Whitebeard doing? Is he attempting to murder Uzumaki Naruto? This is their training. Kakashi remarked that Naruto has been persisting for a long time. After uttering this statement, Kakashi abruptly halted. That's correct. Naruto believes he has been persistent for over a month. This kind of training is so rigorous that it resembles suicide. If a regular youngster trained like this, they will most likely die in less than a day. Yet Naruto is currently screaming horribly, yet after he finishes training, he is full of energy and can train again the following day. Naruto is a very powerful child. He does it for his father, but also for his desire of becoming Hokage. Kakashi gave him praise. He puts in 200 times the effort of ordinary people, even if he will die for it, he doesn't care.
Tsunade's gorgeous eyes sparkled with many hues. Naruto wants to become Hokage.
Kakashi raised his eyebrows. This little kid almost shouts every day that he must become Hokage. They are similar. Tsunade muttered. Huh? Kakashi was taken aback.
Tsunade didn't answer. Naruto and her memories of Nawaki were more similar in her view, whether in terms of look or mentality.
This improbable coincidence always made Tsunade believe that her little brother had been reincarnated and reborn.
But reason informed her. That is impossible. Just then, Whitebeard's voice burst forth. Garararara. You dumb boy. Do you want some serious combat? Only by battling and being battered can one become stronger. Real combat. Naruto was surprised. But Pops, I don't know any ninjutsu yet, and I haven't actually learnt any taijutsu either. Pops, there is no way I can beat you.
He had been working hard for over a month, but this month had been all about endurance and strength training. At most, he would attempt to extract some chakra at night. Basically, it was simply 3 things, and apart from that, Naruto had not learned anything else. Foolish son. Naruto almost screamed as Whitebeard offered him a fist of love.
Whitebeard grinned and said, when I mentioned real battle, I did not mean for you to square off against me. We are both pirates, after all. When a pirate's funds run out, it's only natural to loot others. Rob. Naruto held his head, his eyes somewhat glowing. Won't we be able to have many treasures again? Garararara. Of course. Quote. Naruto knew about Whitebeard's dream. One of his ambitions was to collect additional treasures and bring them back to his village. Naruto had the same dream as Whitebeard. Naruto was really motivated about this.
Did I hear that right? Tsunade was taken aback as he saw Whitebeard and Naruto leave. They're going to rob? Tsunade-sama, you heard correctly. Kakashi had multiple black lines on his forehead and said, they are really going to rob. Kakashi recalled something and added, and with Whitebeard's style, it's very likely not limited to robbing. What do you mean? Tsunade questioned with surprise.
Kakashi explained. Whitebeard would most likely claim that this town is a region defended by his Whitebeard pirates. From that point on, our community will have to pay him homage every year. Whitebeard previously claimed that this is a tax, but I believe it is more like pirates collecting protection fees.
However, Whitebeard normally doesn't hurt people. He exclusively attacks the wealthy, particularly the nobility. Tsunade says. When Tsunade, Kakashi, and Shizune caught up to Whitebeard and Naruto, they discovered that the father-son combo had already arrived at a casino in town. Tsunade's look abruptly grew more subtle. She had lost a large sum of money in this casino. She also obtained a high-interest loan from us. Yesterday, a gang of samurai chased her throughout town. They were part of the gang at this casino, you foolish son. Just then, Whitebeard seized Naruto's garments with one hand.
Under Naruto's wide-eyed gaze, he flung Naruto into the casino and laughed loudly. Gururara. This is your first actual fighting experience. Do not damage the Whitebeard pirate's reputation. Naruto assumed Pops was going to take him to rob. He didn't anticipate him to go alone. Wah! Naruto screamed and smashed through the casino's glass window, his little body falling inside the casino.
Drawing the attention of all gamblers. 2 minutes ago. In addition to a handful of enthusiastic gamblers, there were more than a dozen gangster samurais employed by the casino. Boss, give us one more opportunity. We will not disappoint you. We will definitely find that fat sheep. The lead samurai bowed, droplets of perspiration on his brow.
I already gave you a chance yesterday, replied the guy known as the boss.
He was dressed in a suit, with an elegant family insignia on his lapel. He glanced at the samurai group and remarked coldly, I spend so much money on all of you every month, not to have you eat for free, but to work for me. Boss, we understand our mistake. The samurais didn't dare to complain and avoided making contradicting statements. They recognized that their boss had a significant background.
Something they couldn't afford to tamper with. Furthermore, the magnificent family crest on the boss outfit was that of the Shimura clan of Konoha. He was from the Shimura clan.
However, he was not a Shimura ninja. He was one of the few family members that lacked ninja skills. People like him, who lacked ninja skills, often became the family's tool, dispatched outside Konoha to make money. This casino was run by the Shimura clan, who pay money back to their family every year. Now they'd lost hundreds of thousands of ryo. How could he not feel anxious?
I've previously told you about that lady called Tsunade, even if she's a ninja. She will not hurt any of you. But you can't seem to catch her.
Bang! At that time, a glass pane in the casino cracked, sending glass fragments flying everywhere. One of the samurais was caught off surprise. A shard of glass hit him in the groin.
Ah! The sensation caused him to yell in anguish as he fell to the ground, gripping his crotch. His hands were soaked in blood, and the anguish made his whole body shiver. The group of samurais in the casino, as well as several avid gamblers, couldn't help but look at the smashed window. They observed a blonde youngster laying on the ground,
covered with glass fragments. When did this boy come out? Why did he crash in?
Is he dead? Ah, it hurts. It hurts so much. Naruto sprang to his feet, shouting in agony as he quickly removed the glass fragments buried in his body. He gritted his teeth in anguish but didn't yell. Naruto instantly brought out a flag from his pocket, which turned out to be the Whitebeard pirate's Jolly Roger. Given that the Jolly Roger had not been torn by the glass, Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. I can't let Pops down. With this in mind, Naruto stretched out the pirate flag and, feeling like a genuine pirate, yelled at the samurai and gamblers, I am Uzumaki Naruto, the 1st Division captain of the new Whitebeard pirates.
The Whitebeard pirates have arrived in this town, and all of you need to hand over all your treasures.
Naruto thought his performance reflected a pirate attitude. However, the folks at the casino did not seem to take him seriously. Damn brat. The samurai, holding his injured crotch and his eyes filled with wrath, shouted, I'm going to kill you. Naruto observed the bloodied samurai. A blade came at him, bent on killing the little child in front of him. For a youngster who had just faced his first major struggle, Naruto wasn't expecting these grown-ups to spend time chatting to him. As the sharp sword neared, Naruto's little body shifted to the side. Clang! The sword did not touch Naruto. Instead, it struck the wall behind him. He had avoided it. It seems slower than when my Pops draws his sword. Naruto's eyes expanded. For a brief period, he realized he could plainly see the trajectory of his opponent's sword stroke. Whitebeard's pirate-themed training for Naruto. It had an impact. Damn brat, you dare to dodge. The anguish and hatred had driven the samurai insane. He aggressively threw his sword at Naruto again, but Naruto evaded it by bending his knees and lowering himself. Enough is enough. Naruto was irritated, saying, you need to know when to stop.
He rushed toward the samurai. A headbutt. It struck a weak point. Ah! The samurai's sword had fallen to the ground. He shook all over and clutched his crotch. His awareness was clouded by an agonizing ache that most people cannot withstand.
His eyes rolled backward. He collapsed and fell to the ground. Did I just defeat an adult? Naruto was astonished. But as soon as he glanced up, he saw a bunch of grim-faced samurai and a guy in a suit with an even grimmer grimace.
The legendary big fat sheep dares to run wild on my turf, and now a stinky brat appears as well. Take care of him.
Naruto swallowed hard as he saw more than a dozen samurai raise their swords simultaneously.
He noticed that the scenario seemed to be a bit negative for him.
So, Pops, stinky brat, even calling your father won't help. A bunch of samurai sneered and attempted to swarm him. After all, they had just been reprimanded by their employer. They eventually had a chance to perform. How could they have missed this opportunity? But at this point, an even larger ruckus erupted. This time, no pane of glass was smashed. Instead, the wall crumbled. Boom. Inside the casino, a group of samurai and onlookers were stunned when they saw a wall fall. The unexpected increase in dust and dirt caused them to cough constantly. Garararara. Whitebeard's boisterous laughter resonated as his towering form arrived in front of the crowd. There are only a dozen enemies, and you're already asking for my help. They all have weapons. Naruto offered a feeble defense.
Bang! Whitebeard smashed the Murakumogiri onto the earth. This hit did not employ any devil fruit abilities, yet it caused the earth to tremble severely.
It also made the folks in the casino uneasy. They all had looks of terror on their faces. Stupid son. Raise the Whitebeard pirate's flag. After saying this to Naruto, Whitebeard turned to face the samurai in the casino. Kids, if you draw your swords against pirates, do you know what would happen? Whitebeard smiled. Drawing your swords against my stupid son, do you know what will happen? People trembled under his hearty and overpowering presence. Gulp. The samurai, who were before full of vigor, were now terrified. But before they could respond, Whitebeard had already picked up his Murakumogiri.
Following a series of blade motions, he slashed downward. If you're an enemy of pirates, be prepared to die.
Murakumogiri cut violently across the casino floor.
The wind pressure rolled up like a tornado, prompting the gamblers and samurai in the casino to scream as they were carried away by the powerful wind.
The casino floor was immediately divided into two halves. The ground started to break open from both sides, showing a straight and broad fracture.
Murakumogiri's sword sliced through one end of the fracture. The opposite end spread fast ahead, all the way to 1 kilometer distant. The casino boss, a member of the Shimura clan, plummeted violently from midair, almost losing half his life.
When he shouted out in agony and battled desperately, he glanced up and saw Whitebeard standing in front of him. He was frozen in place, terrified. Stupid son, I'm going to teach you the second lesson of being a pirate. If your enemy doesn't want to pay up, beat them until they do. Remember, we are pirates, we are not playing Ninja House. Garararara. Shimura Tokuro was overwhelmed by unimaginable terror. The behemoth before him exhibited unrivaled might, shattering all the Shimura clan had created in this location. He gazed helplessly as an enormous unseen force knocked a dozen soldiers from their feet. He saw the same tragedy strike the players at the casino. A vast quantity of chips were spread over the ground. The gaming tables were also damaged. In addition, he could see a straight, enormous trench that extends for who knows how many meters. This deep, black ditch was so deep that the end was out of sight. It was scary. That was startling. Garararara. Stupid son. Whitebeard said, have you learned your lesson? If you have, then move all the money out. This is how pirates deal with those who don't know their place. Okay, Pops. Naruto seemed to have unlocked the entrance to a new realm, and he eagerly explored the ruins. Nobody ventured to interrupt this blonde boy. Due to the giant still stood there. After around 5 minutes, Naruto, gasping from effort, had no idea that shifting money could be such a tough and hard operation. Pops, it's all moved. Naruto said enthusiastically. Then, Naruto had discovered numerous huge sacks. These bags were now entirely packed with banknotes, the majority of which were large denominations. A preliminary estimation. It was approximately 10 million ryo.
Well done. Quite efficient. Truly worthy of being my son. You were born to be a pirate. Whitebeard seldom complimented Naruto.
This made Naruto even pleased. The brat in a suit who peed his pants. Whitebeard looked at Shimura Tokuro. Indeed, this Shimura clan member had soiled his trousers. The region under his crotch was clearly damp. Whitebeard made it clear that, from today onwards, this town is under the protection of the Whitebeard pirates. Your casino must pay taxes to the Whitebeard pirates every year, which means the casino and the Whitebeard pirates will share profits on a 30 to 70 basis. Shimura Tokuro was startled and stunned by this incredible figure. Why do I only get to keep 70%? It should be mentioned that the monies he returned to his family amounted for 70% of the casino's yearly revenue. If this giant only left him with 70%, then he would have to return the 70% to his family. What would have left behind? Work for nothing. 70% belongs to the Whitebeard pirates. Whitebeard smashed his Murakumogiri into the ground, forcing it to quiver fiercely. He glared at Shimura Tokuro, who was wide-eyed and tongue-tied, and stated, "You can take 30%, but that depends on my mood." White-haired brat. Whitebeard sighed and said, "We've run out of pirate flags. Draw dozens more. I want this town to be filled with the flags of the Whitebeard pirates." Garararara. Kakashi says, "You really have the style of a pirate." Tsunade was surprised. She folded her arms across her chest, clutching two massive things. She turned to Kakashi, who was grudgingly painting pirate flags. "I didn't expect you, with your thick brows and big eyes, to be his accomplice." After hearing this, Kakashi had no alternative but to defend himself. "Tsunade-sama, I must stay by Naruto's side and take good care of him. Under these circumstances, I have no choice but to temporarily listen to Whitebeard." "You're afraid you can't beat him, aren't you?" Tsunade relentlessly exposed Kakashi, leaving him with just one visible eye full of helplessness. "Tsunade-sama, as one of the three ninjas, why don't you stop him?" Kakashi whirled around to face Tsunade. "Why should I stop him?" After her first disbelief, Tsunade grew ecstatic. She even rubbed her hands together, saying, "These bastards cheated me out of so much money, and this is their retribution." Moreover, she said, "This is an action taken in the land of fire, not a problem with Konoha. What does it have to do with me? Besides, I have already resigned from my ninja duties. I am no longer a ninja."
If her whole speech could be summarized in 4 words. None of her business. Kakashi didn't know what was happening with Tsunade. Tsunade seemed cheerful, but he sensed a profound despair. Could it be due to incidents from the conflict years ago?
Kakashi felt it was inappropriate to ask so many questions. When Kakashi completed painting hundreds of pirate flags, the whole town was decked with the Whitebeard pirates' banners. Flags painted white on a black backdrop fluttered in the breeze. After putting the Whitebeard pirates' flags all over town, Whitebeard was ready to depart with Naruto.
After all, Whitebeard's objective for coming here
Was to locate Tsunade so that he could heal his ailment and relieve the secret ache in his body. However, it was not totally healed. Whitebeard thought that was enough.
Tsunade and Shizune's surgical therapy lasted more than 4 hours, and Whitebeard's physical state improved dramatically. Whitebeard believed he could battle a Marine Admiral for 10 days and nights without issue. The majority of the concealed ailments have been removed. They would no longer keep him back. With his aged physique, he was almost at the top of his strength. "Pops, this doesn't seem like the way back." Naruto stated this while gritting his teeth from effort.
Although, at Whitebeard's request, Kakashi sealed some of the money immediately with his sealing scroll. Naruto still had to carry a large number of money on his back.
This was also a kind of specific training exercise. Naruto's cash weighed almost 200 pounds, causing his 5-year-old knees to tremble. Even his lips were astonished, but he followed Whitebeard with shaky steps.
Whitebeard chuckled and said, "Foolish son, this journey is not only for my treatment, but also a form of training for you. Do you want to go back to school and be the weakest among them? Do you want to be fall behind that Uchiha kid? Uchiha Sasuke." Naruto was taken aback. Whitebeard's remarks genuinely touched Naruto's heart. Naruto wasn't sure why he was so competitive. His instincts did not want him to be overcome by Sasuke.
"Pops, so Naruto couldn't help but ask softly, "Where are we going?"
"Leave the land of fire." Whitebeard said without hesitation, "Only by experiencing the baptism of blood and battle in such a war-torn country can you grow up.
Hold on. Leave the land of fire. Kakashi, who stood behind them, widened his eyes. He knew he was no match for Whitebeard, but in such a critical circumstance, he had to stand out. How can this be? If Naruto leaves the land of fire, he could very well become a target for all the major ninja villages.
He is the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Kakashi came to a shocking realization.
Oh no, he seems to have accidentally disclosed some critical information. Chapter 51. The truth. Am I the Jinchuriki? The vessel of the tailed beast? Whitebeard was aware that a thing was hiding within Naruto. However, the precise subtleties were beyond his grasp. To be honest, Whitebeard didn't seem very bothered. In his view, his kid is just that. His son. What if he had a demon within?
Does not care. It did not alter the fact that Naruto was his kid.
Naruto, on the other hand, was very caring. Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Naruto froze as he heard the word.
Struggling under his heavy weight, he attempted to raise his head to meet Kakashi's ever so slightly changing gaze.
Naruto, perplexed, said, "Uncle Kakashi, what does this mean? Why am I the Nine Tails Jinchuriki?" He did not understand the significance of the phrase. However, he was able to discern its relationship to the demon fox.
Given this insight, Naruto's emotions started to spiral. Is this why the villagers despise me so much? Kakashi became quiet. After a time, under Naruto's anxious look, Kakashi could only manage. Naruto, some things will become clear when you're older, the Hokage will tell you then. White-haired brat. Whitebeard's voice burst out. Why aren't you answering Naruto's questions? If Naruto wants to know, tell him.
A loud thud sounded as Whitebeard's weapon impacted the ground just inches from Kakashi,
causing a blast of wind to touch Kakashi's heel. In front of Naruto, who looked forward to pleading for a response.
Whitebeard's menacing presence. Kakashi wants to smack his own face.
However, when he looked at Naruto's little, somewhat shy, and tired face, marred by the stresses of hard special training.
Two faces flashed into his head, Kushina and Minato.
A Jinchuriki is a person who is either possessed by a tailed beast or its chakra. They're the vessel that seals away the tailed beast.
Kakashi responded, no longer evading the subject. Tailed beast? Vessel? Whitebeard's brow arched. Whitebeard, you've probably sensed that Naruto has an unfathomable potential within him, Kakashi said. But that potential is only a fraction of what's truly inside him. The greater portion is held by the tailed beast, specifically the Nine Tails. This entity is the source of Naruto's remarkable abilities. Naruto's repeated near-death experiences, in which he was enveloped by a flood of orange energy, were really caused by the Nine Tails chakra. When this revelation concludes, Whitebeard was unconcerned with the news since he had already guessed it. However, Naruto was perplexed. I have a tailed beast inside me? It's called Nine Tails? Suddenly, recollections of strange dreams flooding back.
Dreams in which he meets a weird monster. The thing was quite huge. The Konoha village doesn't truly know its name, Kakashi said, his face troubled. The name, Nine Tails, is just a nickname the village has given this powerful beast. The young Naruto realized, is this why I was treated like an outcast? Kakashi sighed and said, the tailed beast is dangerous. 5 years ago, it brought immense destruction to the Konoha village. At that time, many people died. Naruto seems heartbroken by the discovery.
Kakashi quickly added, but it's not your fault, the Nine Tails did that. Naruto's power seems to decrease all at once. More than 200 pounds of weight immediately dragged him down.
Naruto collapsed to the ground. Inside me, resides a monster that harmed the village. His determination to become Hokage, to be liked by everybody. Now it seemed smashed. Whispers rang in his head. Am I truly a monster? Have I hurt everyone? His mood was quite volatile. The seal that held back the Nine Tails was dissolving.
His pupils started to change, taking on a hideous aspect. Even the Hokage knew. But he didn't tell me. It turned out, I was really a demon fox. Naruto's 10 nails progressively grew, become razor sharp. Inside Naruto, the Nine Tails laughed maniacally. Yes, this is it. This Kakashi is much more to my liking than Whitebeard. The darkness in the boy's heart is rising. Nine Tails' massive body crashed into the seal. Its laughing was really happy looking.
Speak more. Speak more. As long as this brat's emotions completely collapse, I can take this opportunity to try to break this damn seal. The Nine Tails chakra was rapidly spreading within Naruto. It was continually impacting Naruto's thoughts, also harming Naruto's physique. Kakashi, who was witnessing Naruto undergo this transformation with astonished eyes, abruptly stopped speaking. He put his hands on Naruto's shoulders, his palms brushing the Nine Tails chakra that emanated from Naruto's body. The strangely chilly and ominous chakra. It caused Kakashi's face to shift considerably. Naruto, calm down. Kakashi quickly urged. All of this is done by the Nine Tails, not you. You are not a demon fox. It is the real culprit.
Naruto? Kakashi discovered Naruto couldn't hear a word.
The Nine Tails chakra seemed to be interfering with his ability to hear. I'm not sure if my sealing technique works on tailed beasts. Kakashi took a long breath.
He couldn't let Naruto continue like way. If Naruto would go insane. However, Kakashi instantly sensed a massive catastrophe emanating from above his head. Looking above, he saw a massive fist crashing down. He was so terrified that he teleported away instantly. Bang! A fist bigger than Naruto's whole body crashed into him. It crushed Naruto into the earth, like if pounding a nail. The tremendous strength made the earth quiver fiercely.
The force of this punch could easily crush a piece of steel. You foolish son. Whitebeard's shout conveyed an unmatched conqueror's haki. Don't let the power you possess sway your will. Boom. The conqueror's haki swept over Naruto's soul. The powerful strike destroyed the Nine Tails chakra. It caused Naruto to vomit up froth immediately. His eyeballs rolled upward. He fainted on the spot. Damn Whitebeard. The frightening Nine Tails grin abruptly froze.
Naruto felt like he was having a very clear dream.
This dream made everything he saw seem very real. He had a dream in which he arrived to what seemed to be a jail.
There was water everywhere under his feet, and the air was moist and dreary.
The jail was massive. He felt like a small ant, and he could see a massive shadow within the cage.
Naruto recalls having a dream about this location previously.
Only this time, the dream was quite clear. During the dream, he dimly heard the large person in the cage grumbling, and Naruto deduced that it was a complaint. He overheard phrases like, "Damn Whitebeard. Hey, you're not allowed to curse Pops." Naruto had no idea who was in the jail, but Pops was so nice to him that he would never let anybody talk badly of him. A particular Nine Tails turned its massive head in amazement. It peered down and saw Naruto's little body. It happened in an instant.
The Nine Tails bared its teeth. Brat, you actually came here. Its visage was savage, like a beast eager to devour humans. The deadly purpose that surged through the confined area was quite scary.
It never had any positive thoughts for people. All it had was hate and killing purpose.
Initially, the Nine Tails had no feelings for mankind until it was suddenly captured by someone.
Then that idiot placed a Susanoo on it and manipulated it to battle an extraordinarily powerful opponent.
It remembers being beaten severely. Yes, it had been battered up.
Then, it became a tool for mankind, mysteriously locked inside a human body. When that individual died, it was sealed within another person's body. It eventually got out, but it was still controlled by someone. When the Nine Tails regained consciousness, it was startled to see that its body had been brutally divided in two. One half of its body went away to an unknown location. The second half is currently encased within a child called Uzumaki Naruto. I'd been calling out to the sky all day, but there was no response. Calling out to the ground, yet getting no reaction from underneath. Today was its moment to break free from the seal, but it was wrecked by that blasted Whitebeard. How could the Nine Tails not be angry? It was angry.
This wrath, along with its hate for humanity, fueled the Nine Tails' homicidal purpose when it saw Naruto.
If the Nine Tails' homicidal aim is like a large ocean, Naruto is just a little boat. Floating on the waves. Gulp. When the Nine Tails' whole form emerged in front of him, 5-year-old Naruto was understandably terrified. But as he reflected on how this large fox had just talked poorly of Pops, he wondered where he got his bravery.
Naruto worked hard to straighten his back. He stiffened his small face.
I'm not afraid of you. Naruto widened his eyes as he remembered what Kakashi had said. Could you be the tailed beast Nine Tails that Uncle Kakashi talked about? Are you the one who turned me into the demon fox in the village? Hey! The Nine Tails let out a sigh. The odd and frightening gale almost threw Naruto in the ocean. The Nine Tails displayed its keen fangs. It smirked and laughed. Yes. It's me. I even killed many people back then. Are you angry, brat? Naruto squeezed his teeth firmly. How could he not be angry? Ha ha ha. Little brat. There's something you don't know yet. That white-haired little devil hid quite a few things from you back then. Nine Tails burst into laughter. Over these years, I've been inside you, watching you being isolated, ridiculed, and bullied. It's hilarious. Ha ha ha. Damn it. Naruto tightened his teeth. So this is all because of you.
Don't blame the tailed beasts indiscriminately, stinky brat. Nine Tails burst into laughter. It's not like I wanted to stay here. The one who sealed me inside you was your biological father.
Ha 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 ha. Get lost, little brat. ... Naruto sat up from the floor, sweating furiously. When he opened his eyes, he saw that the jail in front of him had vanished. The Nine Tails are also gone. The image he saw now was a familiar but alien woodland.
As Naruto attempted to rise up, he lost his balance and almost collapsed. He instantly stretched out to grasp something. The familiar sensation of the thing reminded Naruto that he was laying on Whitebeard's shoulder. He had fallen asleep on Whitebeard's shoulder, and I had a nightmare. Stupid son, are you awake? Whitebeard, his beard tugged, looked at the woken Naruto.
Pops. Naruto's agitated thoughts calmed down. Naruto, who had dreams about the Nine Tails, was frequently agitated. But when he saw Whitebeard, an incredible feeling of security. It calmed Naruto down. Naruto, are you okay? Do you feel anything wrong with your body? Did anything strange happen when you fell asleep? A worried voice said from the same side.
Kakashi was the one speaking. Kakashi was terrified yesterday when he witnessed the Nine Tails chakra blazing in Naruto's body, even sprouting two tails behind him. Fortunately, Whitebeard knocked Naruto unconscious with a single blow, which shocked Kakashi. Kakashi was concerned. Naruto may never wake up after receiving that hit. I think I dreamt of a huge fox. Naruto remembered his dream and continued, it was bad-mouthing Pops, so I told it not to speak ill of him. A fox? What about the Nine Tails? Sweat streamed down Kakashi's brow. His main concern was that Naruto, given his immature state of mind, might be swayed by the tailed beast. Did it say anything to you? Kakashi asked. It said? Naruto murmured quietly, it said it was sealed inside me by my biological father. Kakashi says. Not good. Whitebeard wrinkled his brow more deeply than Naruto's. Looking down at Naruto, he sneered, he sealed such a dangerous thing in his own son. Is this the behavior of a decent father? Pa, definitely not. Uncle Kakashi, is this true? Naruto inquired, is that big fox lying to me? Kakashi remained quiet. If it had just been Naruto present, he may have made a white lie, but Whitebeard was also there. It's true. Kakashi attempted to justify his instructor, saying, but your biological father. He had his troubles. The situation was critical at the time, and this may have been the greatest answer.
Nonsense. Whitebeard scoffed. No matter how painful it is for a parent, he cannot let his kid go through all of this. Has he ever considered Naruto being discriminated against? Has he ever thought about Naruto being bullied? Has he ever cared about Naruto? HMPH. Bad dad. Whitebeard couldn't comprehend why a parent would allow his kid go through so much misery. He saw this as a sign of recklessness. He started to harshly criticize Namikaze Minato. This rendered Kakashi dumbfounded, unable to refute. To be continued.
Thanks for tuning into this video. If you found this video entertaining, please show your support by liking the video, leaving a comment, and subscribing for future content.